All right, we are live. Just confirming right now, like I always say, YouTube has the most complicated way of figuring out if you're live. You have to actually manually check yourself. There you go, I just confirmed it. All right, everybody. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Kicking It with Karam, where you and I kick it with one another and talk about real estate. If you're new to the channel, what I speak about here every single Tuesday and Thursday at 6:30 p.m. is basically the hottest topics in real estate. At 6:30 p.m. Tuesday and Thursday, we discuss the hottest topics in real estate and figure out ways you and I can make the most money in this industry. Today we're going to basically be discussing a topic that I get asked so much from so many people, and that is flipping versus renting versus wholesaling real estate. I get asked so much by people which one is better than the other, is flipping better than renting, is wholesaling better than flipping, and so forth. So in this video, we're about to figure out which one is which. And by the way, this is my opinion, but I'm going to break down for you the pros and cons of each one, and you'll be able to, at the end, determine which one you want to enter. So that's what we're going to be discussing today. It's going to be a nice, exciting topic that so many people are curious about, and I'm over here going to basically break it down for you so you can see which one suits you best and one that you can actually enter today. What is going on, Mystical Gaming? Hope you're doing good. What's going on, brother? Just trying to wrap up a couple of things, and we are about to get right into it. Flipping versus renting versus wholesaling real estate. And by the way, for those who are joining these live streams and those who are new to the channel, what I basically do is these live streams on Tuesday and Thursday are only focused on real estate. And the goal with this is I want to be able to have an entire album of real estate videos from A to Z. So a new person who wants to get into real estate, a new person like I once was, can get onto my channel and see from A to Z how to get into real estate and to see what type of real estate they want to enter. So the first video that I made with Kicking It with Karam, the new series I created, is how to create financial independence from real estate. Then the second video I made was how to get into real estate, a bit more in depth. Then the third video was how to get funded in real estate, how to get your capital up either from investors or from yourself or from banks, but how to get funded in real estate. And now this video we're talking about the three methods that almost everybody talks about in real estate, which is flipping, renting, and wholesaling. So if you're new to the channel, it's definitely not a bad idea to consider subscribing if you're into real estate and into these discussions, because you can ask me any question, and if I know the answer, I'm going to answer it for you live so you can be able to get your answers quick and dive right into the field even quicker. We got Armani. Hey, what's going on, brother? Hope you're doing good. It's good to have you. Mystical Gaming, it's Hamza. What's going on, Hamza? Hope everything is good. It's time to make you some money, so pay attention to this live stream so we can get things rolling with it. Okay, we're good to go now. Now we're going to start. So the first one that we're going to be discussing is flipping. Now, flipping is one that so many people know about and are curious about and want to know how they can get their feet wet in it. So that's what I'm going to do right now with you, as I allow you to understand what it is. Flipping in simple terms means that you are flipping something, whether it's real estate, whether it's businesses, whether it's even a phone that you use, you can flip it and make money off of it. So what it is for the real estate aspect is I'm driving down the street and I see a property below market value. So this property is worth, let's say, $160,000. I drive around and find out that it's selling for $120,000. Now this is a $40,000 difference. Why it's selling so much cheaper, it could be from many reasons, but it could be the person wants to quickly leave the house. Could be there's so much renovations that have to be done, the person just wants out of it and doesn't have the money to do it. Could be about anything. So you find the property for $120,000, you buy it for that price, you remodel it for, let's say, $5,000, you have $125,000 in it, and you sell it for that $160,000 value. Of course, you have realtor costs, you have closing fees and so forth, but I'm giving you the basic overview of what flipping is. You find a price below market value and you sell it at market value. Those two things, as simple as that. It's almost about anything that you do in life when you buy it cheaper than the market and you sell it at the market price. People could not be patient who are selling it. People just want to get out of whatever they're in, and that's you taking advantage of it and using your skills to find that person. Now, the question that many people ask, and they actually message me a lot about it, is flipping sustainable? Is it something that you can do for your entire life? Is it something that you can get in and continuously keep on doing without having to do something else? The answer to that, of course, is it depends of what type of flipping you're actually getting yourself into. It depends on how the market's looking. It depends on a lot of things, but overall, yes, flipping is sustainable and you can make a ton of money from it if you're the active person, the one that just keeps on hustling towards it. Flipping houses in a seller's market and in a buyer's market, though, is two separate things. Right now, as you all know, we're in a seller's market. Prices are very high. People are picking up these properties left and right. We don't have that much supply, but we have so much demand. We are in a seller's market right now. Okay? So if you're a flipper in a seller's market, it's going to be so much harder for you to find these properties at a discounted price because there's so many people trying to buy these properties just like you. So in a seller's market, flipping houses becomes very tough. But if you're able to find those great deals, it is the best because you can list your property and you can sell it literally the first day. I've listed properties in sellers markets in the same day. I'd have over 25 offers. One time I had 25 offers and I had 7 offers above asking price by $15,000. So if you're buying houses in a seller's market and you're flipping them, you're going to make a killing because you're not only going to get the price you're asking, but even more because there's so much demand for these properties. Now, that's the good thing about flipping houses in a seller's market is you get prices that you didn't expect over market and you get these houses sold very quick. But the hard thing is when you're flipping in a seller's market to find the property, to find the good deals because there's people swarming everywhere to do exactly what you're doing. Now, if you're doing flipping in a buyer's market, it's a different scenario. You're buying these properties at such a cheap price, at a discounted price, because in a buyer's market, you're buying market, meaning you're out there buying these properties, but there's not someone out there market. And then when I list it, it could take 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, even a year plus to sell this property. But that's the positive. But the con of that is that in a buyer's market, it's very hard to sell because there's not too many people who are looking to buy, and also to negotiate these terms when you're trying to sell a property is even harder because people who have so many options are now being very picky on your property, saying you got to pay title policy, you got to pay the closing fees, you have to make sure you remodel this, you have to make sure you do that. And it just gets tougher on you. But if you buy in a buyer's market and you hold until it's a seller's market, you'll make a killing. But we're discussing flipping, and flippers, they want to buy it and they want to get out of it. It's just quick rotations, in and out, in and out. And that's what it is when you are flipping properties. Now, one thing you have to remember for flipping is it is golden for short term. Okay? Short term real estate is the best to flip because you buy the property, you flip it the next day, the next month, and you're out of it. That's short-term results though. If you're talking long-term, it's a whole different ballpark. Flipping is not the right way to go if you want long-term. And one thing that I want everyone to remember when you do flipping is, remember this: if you stop flipping, then you stop making money. Meaning that you can't enter the flipping game and stop flipping and think that you're going to have income coming in. Whereas if you're in the renting game, you'll always have income every single month. Flipping, once your effort stops, the income stops as well. So that's one of the issues you have, is flipping is there to build up your capital to then put it in either businesses or in rental houses, so you can be able to get continuous income every single month. Flipping is to build your capital, and it's something that if you stop doing, you're not gonna have income coming in anymore. Now that's flipping. We're going to now move on to rental properties. Renting properties. Is that something that is good? Is renting properties worth it is a question I also get asked a lot. I get asked this because people say, if you're renting properties, you're only seeing the returns 10 years, 15 years down the line. Because when you put in the investment for the property, you're paying X amount of thousands of dollars for it. And to get back your money takes around 10 years, let's say. 10 years to get your money back. And if you're getting a mortgage on it, it takes even longer. It could take up to 20 to 30 years to get your money back. So flipping is short term. Renting is very long term. Let's say you buy a house for $150,000. Let me pull up my phone and let's do some math. You buy a house for $150,000 and every single month you get $1,500 for it, right? So every single month you're getting $1,500. Now if you do 1,500 times 100, that's $150,000. So you can already see how many years it's going to take for you to make back your money on that $150,000. Now that's not even considering you have property tax, you have to pay your taxes in general, you have to pay repairs and so forth, you have to pay for tenants just leaving the property, for repairs. It's a lot of things. So to make your money back in renting properties is not that easy, but there's a whole different way to enter rentals, which is what majority people do. For example, Grant Cardone, what he does is he gets the bank who gives him the loan, he puts someone to rent, he gets someone to rent the house, and then every month his renting is basically, his rental is coming in $1,500, his mortgage is $1,100, he puts in $400 in his pocket. Okay? That's renting. Now I'm speaking real quick right now, so let me catch my breath and read a couple of these questions. We have Body saying, hey Karam, wish I could join you for all your live streams. However, here in the UK, it's 12:50 a.m. 12:50 a.m. in the UK. It's okay. You can still make that. You can still make these live streams. I mean, you're joining it right now, and I do appreciate you. You're probably trying to run though and grab your sleep, so I understand. And if you can't see these live streams, I have them on playback, so you can just go to my channel and check it out. JP says, what city have you done real estate in? So the city that I actually live in is what I do real estate in, which is Dallas, Texas. So that's where I do real estate at, and that's where I focus my real estate in. So we were talking about rental properties right now and how renting properties is a long-term game, and you're not going to get your income as fast as you're not going to get your money back as fast as you would as flipping properties. Rentals, you get it after 10 years plus. Flipping, you get it after whenever you sell the house. Could be a month, 3 months, so forth. You get it when you sell the house. Now, the one good thing about rentals is they're safe and secure. And anytime you want, you can liquidate them. Anytime you want, you can sell that rental property. 5 years down the line, you decide you don't want to rent anymore, you can just liquidate it and sell. Renting is a longer term game. Now, the one thing that I like about renting is if you're smart and you know how to buy these properties below market value. So I see a rental that I can buy for $100,000. I go out and find it for $70,000. Okay? And then I pull out a mortgage on it for $100,000. You see what I'm saying? Now my equity in that property is a margin of $30,000, meaning that I paid $70,000 for it. That's what I was getting it for, but I put out a loan for $100,000, meaning $30,000 in the middle. That's mine. Anytime I can refinance and pull that amount out. So if you're doing rentals and you know how to find the good deals, it's golden because you can buy the house and already have equity in it on top of the rental income that you are getting. So renting is good when you can create equity. It's safe and secure, but it's a long-term game. Flipping is short-term, and renting is a longer-term play that you're going to be doing. Shabnam says, would it be best to flip your first property to get fast profit and then move on into investments and renting? That is a beautiful question. Actually, I love that. That's something that I wanted to touch up on, which is basically you who's entering real estate, right? You're entering the real estate game. If you want to get into this game, you have to have a lot of capital, a lot of cash. Not in all real estate. You can do different types of real estate. For example, wholesaling, which we're about to touch up on. And for example, renting, which you can get bank loans and so forth. But overall, if you want to do big projects and make big money, you want to have that big amount of capital. So we have Shabnam who just asked, would it be best to flip your way up to building capital and then start investing in rental properties? And that's actually what I love. Why do you think you guys see the old 70, 80, 90-year-old men and women investing in real estate at that time and doing rental properties? It's easy, it's relaxing, and it's steady income that comes in every month, and you don't have to put much work to it. The question I ask myself and all of you is, you're young and you're hustling and you have energy, so why are you going to tie up all your money into a rental property when you can keep flipping your way up and make more money and then down the line get the rental? So it's two different stories, you see. So the question that was asked was, basically, can I keep flipping until I have enough for rentals? And yes, you can do that. And that's actually a very smart route to take, because you can have $100,000 saved up, and that's 5 down payments for 5 rental properties. Imagine that. A lot of money coming in after that. We have Body asking, bro, I have just under 10,000 saved. 10,000, that's not dollars, that's 10,000 euros. That's the sign I always see. I'm gonna guess it's euros. Saved. I'm 19 years old. The way I see it my options are find investors. I could find investors abroad as I'm from the Middle East, or I can save up further with aims to save up around 30K in 2 to 3 years. What are your suggestions for my situations? Oh no, it's GBP, British pounds. Okay, that's what it is. That's crazy because I did Forex and I remember I used to buy British pounds. Okay, so he's asking, he has 10, let's just say this is what he has actually. He has 10,000 British pounds. So what's the conversion for that? 10,000 British pounds, hold up. Let me get this real quick for you guys so we can make it easy. British pounds to dollars. Because we got to know in dollars, right? We're over here in the US. Give me 1 second. Let me pull up this. Okay, nice. You got a good stash of money. So he has $13,248.28. $13,000 basically is what he has. He has $13,000 and he wants to know what should he do. His options are to find investors or to save up for 2 to 3 years and get around 30,000, which in USD would probably be around $40,000. My suggestions for you is this. Let's say that me, Karam, right now, me right here, I have $13,000 saved up and I want to get into real estate. The biggest thing that I would do as I try to get into real estate, in all honesty, would be I would find people who are already doing real estate and I would put my work for free for them. So I would find a realtor who needs help and I would help her or him. I would find investors who need someone to manage their properties. I would manage it for free. I would find people who are in real estate who need help and I can be that hand to help them. Because in all honesty, $13,000 is a great amount of money, but for real estate, it's not going to help you too much if you're flipping. If you're getting a house off of a bank, you can put 10% down, 15% down, and that would be enough. But I wouldn't suggest that just yet. Because you're 19 years old, you have to build credit and so forth, so it might be tough on you. So right now, save up that money. What you should do is small flips with it. You should enter cars, start flipping cars, start flipping things that you can do online, anything that you can do, and then at the same time start learning the real estate game a lot more. Because the first thing real estate needs is not only capital, but it needs experience. So if you're getting into real estate with $1 million, but you have no knowledge in it, you're probably gonna lose all that money. You're gonna get into bad deals, you're gonna make mistakes, and you don't want to do that. So right now you should be learning the game of real estate. Learning the game of real estate by actually going out there and following people who are in that field. Does that make sense, bro? What is going on, Ty Speaks? Hope you're doing good, my brother. Always good to have you in our live streams. Najib, what is going on? Hope you're doing good. Salam, bro. Hope everything is well with you. We have Abdurrahman in here. Aren't you limited to what you can do with not having a sales license? So we have him asking, aren't you limited to do certain amount of things in real estate if you don't have a sales license? And I'm going to be guessing that sales license means a realtor license, right? If you can just answer that. So you mean realtor license as in aren't you limited to that? Body, no problem, brother. I hope that gave you the answer. $13,000 cash is a lot of money. So what you need to do is not save it, but keep on trying to grow it. But at the same time, learn the game of real estate. So when your money's up there, you can start dominating in that industry. All right. So Abdurrahman said, aren't you limited with what you can do without having a sales license, without having a realtor license? So you're not limited actually at all. What it actually does, by the way, if you have a realtor license, it actually limits you more than not having a realtor license, right? As a real estate investor for me, I don't need a realtor license. I don't have to have a license to buy properties, sell properties, or any of those stuff. But if I did have a realtor license, I have more access to, like, let's say the MLS. I can see the multi-listing services where it shows me comps, comparables. It shows me prices and things that I can't see as a normal person versus what a realtor can see. But if you're a realtor, you have so many obligations by law that it's actually something that can turn around on you if you're a real estate investor. Because if you're a real estate investor, you can do certain things that realtors can't do. For example, they call it fiduciary or something like that, fiduciary rules and regulations for realtors, where they can't pay below basically market price on a property if the person is selling it and doesn't know the market price of that property. So if the price is 150K and you're offering that person 130K, it's your obligation, it's your duty as a realtor to inform them that market price is 150K and that's what they can get. That's just one small thing out of the other many things. So if you have a realtor license, it actually limits you to certain things you can do as a real estate investor. And as me, a real estate investor, if I don't have a realtor license, realistically, all it limits me with is the MLS. I can't be able to access certain things that realtors can see. But when you have a big team of realtors on your team who are helping you as an investor, it's basically irrelevant because you have them do the work for you, which is ultimately what you want. Is you want people to do the work for you, because if you're trying to grow in a business, you have to have others do the work for you, the tedious work, the $10 an hour jobs, because your mind is focused on the bigger deals and the bigger money. Does that make sense, Abdurrahman? I hope that answered it for you. Having a realtor license is great, but it limits you in certain aspects if you want to become a real estate investor. That's why there's a whole big discussion is wholesaling not good if you're a realtor? Is wholesaling unethical if you're a realtor? You have a huge argument between realtors discussing you shouldn't wholesale if you're a realtor. It is unethical. You can't do that to sellers and to people who are trying to sell their homes. And long story short, it's for a whole different video. Abdurrahman said, I never thought of it that way. Habibi, shukran. Anytime, brother, anytime. That's basically the overview. But don't get it twisted. Having a realtor license has its benefits, of course, and it can help you in a lot of things whenever you're doing real estate. We have Najib. He's like, what the F? What do you mean, what the F? What's going on? He said, with what? With what? I messed. I was seeing that wrong for some reason. That's my bad. With what? With a realtor license, basically. Okay, so let's continue on real quick. So we finished talking about flipping properties, renting properties. Now we're going to wrap it up with wholesaling properties. This is one so many people love, by the way. So many people are like, oh my God, I want to wholesale properties. Oh my God, there's so much money in it. Oh my God, this is something I want to get into. So let's talk right now about wholesaling properties and why is there so much hype around it. Now, a lot of people love wholesaling. The question is why? There's no cash needed. Wherever my wallet is, if I grab my wallet and I flip it upside down and shake it, I can have $0 and I can get into wholesaling. You don't need a license for it. So you don't have to go out there and get a license to wholesale deals. You can just do that off the bat and there is no credit needed. So no cash needed, no credit needed, and no license needed when you wholesale properties. All right. What it requires though, all of this aside, what it requires is you to be able to work plus your efforts. So you don't need anything except yourself, your energy, your drive, and your skills with seeing and catching those deals. Does that make sense? So you have people who love wholesaling because it requires no money. Their credit can be bad and they can still do it, and so forth. But it requires a lot of effort. So the question you're probably going to be asking is, what in the world is wholesaling? So I'm just going to run through that with you very quick so you kind of have an overview of what it is. You're driving down the street and you're driving, and of course, the BMW M6 Grand Coupe, and it has black exterior and it's sitting on some beautiful 19-inch rims, and it has bloodshot, gorgeous red leather. And it's a Grand Coupe, so you have your homeboys and your homegirls in the back seat. You fit around 4 to 5 people in it. 5 you'll be squishing, so you want around 4 people. And you're driving through this neighborhood, and you're seeing the properties down the street, and you find a property that's selling. This property, it looks pretty good, but you see that it looks kind of vacant. The grass is tall on it. You see that it's got boarded up windows. You see that it has bad roof on it. You see that it has a lot of work that needs to be done. But there's a car in front of it, and there's someone living in that house. So you're thinking to yourself, and you're like, there's someone living in it, but it looks like it's real beat up. A, the person doesn't have any money to remodel this house, or B, this person doesn't care about the house. So which one is it? No money to remodel or doesn't care? And by the way, A and B, if they're both to answer, you're golden, because that's how you step in and make your negotiations. So you decide, you know what, I'm going to go and knock on this door. You knock on the door, the person opens the door, and you start talking to them and making discussions. Hey, your house, and hey, I seen your house, and it looks like there are some issues with it. There's some remodeling you have to do with it. There's some stuff that may need to be done. Have you ever thought of selling your home? Now remember, I'm not giving you a pitch. This is not how you want to enter knocking on someone's door and telling them your house looks like it needs to be remodeled. That's disrespectful. You don't want to say that. But I'm telling you that just the overview of it is you discuss and you say, hey, have you ever thought of selling your home? Now this person is going to be like, I never thought of it, but what are you thinking? And you just start talking back and forth, and the person decides and says, yeah, I'm willing to sell the house for $100,000 cash. Now, the person didn't do research on the market. The person doesn't know how much their house is worth. The person doesn't know anything, but they want $100,000 cash because their mortgage could be around $90,000, $95,000, could be $100,000, and they just want to get out of the house, and they just want to clear off their mortgage. So you tell them, okay, I'll be back tomorrow. Let me go work a couple of things. You go to your house. You run the numbers. You find out that house is worth $160,000. Okay. So you just saw a house that the lady asked for, or the man asked for, $100,000. You know it's worth $160,000. What you're going to do is the next day you're going to go with a contract. And this contract states that you are interested in buying this property, but you have 30 days to make your final decision, to get funding and so forth. And you can also assign this contract to another buyer. The person, they see that there's opportunity to make $100,000 cash. They sign it and you leave. After a couple days, you found an investor. This investor is interested in the property. He comes by, he checks it out. You call the person who lives in the house, say, hey, I need to do an inspection check or whatever it may be. You bring that buyer. The buyer comes and checks it out. And the buyer is interested to pay you $120,000 for it. You have the house under contract for $100,000. An investor that you know came and now wants to pay $120,000 for it. You make it clear to them, so-and-so was going on, and I'm going to do a closing with you and with the seller of the house. So you're going to do a double closing. There's other options, but double closings is one, which is a bit expensive, but that's what it is right now for this scenario. So you're going to do a double closing. You're going to basically sell the contract, the $100,000 contract, to the investor for $120,000. And then that investor is buying the house from that lady. So you just middleman the entire process. And you left with how much money? Let's see if you guys can keep up. How much money did you leave with? You have it. You bought it for. You're going to buy it for $100,000. Remember, buy it on contract. You didn't officially buy it for $100,000, and then someone else that you bring wants to pay $120,000. It's simple, $20,000 margin. So $20,000 you just put in your pocket because you connected a motivated seller with an investor or with a potential buyer. That is basically the overview of wholesaling properties, is you are the middleman finding those great deals and finding those investors or those buyers to pick up that deal, and you make your middle money, your commission in the middle, because you were able to connect those two with one another. Way harder than it just sounds, but it's doable if you're hungry and you want to do it. This requires no money. This requires no credit. This requires absolutely nothing except you and your efforts and your focus on figuring out where those good deals are. Now we have Shabnam saying, how do you manage multiple rental properties? And should you hire a property manager or do it yourself? Do you use any software? Okay. How do you manage multiple rental properties? Number one, if you have 10, 20 rental properties and they're not nearby you, it's going to be tough to manage them, of course. So you can hire a property management company, which basically manages all your properties and takes a percentage from you. Me personally, if I own 10, 20 properties, I wouldn't hire a property management company. I'd get one of my friends. I would tell them X amount of money's for you. Manage these properties from me. If they need if they need repairs, let me know. If they need repairs, take care of them, and so forth. So I wouldn't get a management company unless I have over 100, 200 properties. That gets very hectic. But in reality, I'd probably just keep grabbing my friends and letting them work, because I feel It's always good to benefit the people you actually know rather than the strangers. So I like to feed the people I know. I like to feed the friends of mine, the people I care about, before I feed someone else that I really don't know. And when I mean by feed is I mean pay them the money and give them the money so they can benefit from it. Now, the first one is, how do you manage multiple rental properties? You manage them if they're nearby. If they're not, you can get your friends to manage them. You can get people to manage them like a management company, but that costs money. And basically, it depends on the scenario. So what I do by myself, it depends on how hectic things are, how much I have on my plate. But like I said, I'd get a friend to do it, and that's how I would go about it. And you don't really have to use any software to manage these properties. You can make an Excel sheet of each property when you did this repair, that repair, but it doesn't have to be too complicated. Najib says, I was saying, what can he put his money into, the UK guy? Okay, I got you, Najib. So the UK guy said that he has, not the UK guy, that's not his name. His name is Body. So Body said that he has $13,000. So Najib is asking, what can he put his money in? My suggestion was, in real estate, you want to sit on the side with that right now. It could be a down payment for a property, a rental property, but he's only 19 years old. His credit is probably not built, so it will be tough for him. I told him that he can invest it in cars, he can invest it in online businesses, or he can just basically keep that money to be able to invest in learning more of the industry within himself. Or he can offer this money to other people out there, get a small percentage. So if you go to investors and they need $10,000 for a renovation, you can hand them that, and they'll give you, let's say, $1,000 or $2,000 for that money, for handing them it up front. So $13,000 is not too much to play with in the real estate market, but it's a lot of money to just have cash. So don't belittle that amount of money. We have JP saying, have you ever done a wholesale property? If so, what did your first deal look like? So what we have going is JP is wholesaling properties are a whole different game from what my focus is. My focus is in flipping properties and smoothing into rentals as well. Wholesaling is not something that I focus solely on. I've been with many people who've done wholesale properties, who've done these deals from A to Z. So I've seen it, I've understood it, I've basically ran it with them, so I know the whole process. I can tell you one guy who did a wholesale deal with me he was passing by a house that had a for sale by owner sign. He went and knocked on the door. The owner had to get going in a couple of weeks. He negotiated that owner heavily. He went and signed the contract with that owner. He found an investor. The investor was interested, and he closed on the property. If you don't get greedy, you can make wholesale deals quick and sell them to investors even quicker. If you go to foreclosure auctions, there's a bunch of wholesalers there trying to wholesale properties to investors. So that's one of the scenarios that I've experienced within the wholesaling game. Shabnam says, Karam, what's your average cash flow on each house? Let's do some math right now then. Man, it is hot. What is the average cash flow on each house? Okay, so if you're renting a property, and I have my calculator open right here, so I'm about to show you guys. If you're renting a property and it makes you $1,500 every single month it makes you $1,500. My estimate is that property is going to be around $80 a month for insurance, okay? So $1,500 minus $80. $80 is gone for insurance. Then you want to say that taxes on that property every single month, let's say $1,500 times, let's say you're in the 15% tax bracket, 225 plus 225. So you're going to be $1,500 minus $310. $1,500 minus $310. That's insurance and that's property taxes for that property that you're on. That's not property taxes, I'm sorry. That's taxes you're going to pay on that income that you're getting in. So $1,500 minus $310. Then you're going to also do minus property taxes. If it's around, you're probably going to pay property taxes to, let's say, $400 a month. Okay? And it gets a bit complicated. I need to get my whiteboard to break it down for you. But basically, after paying property taxes, after paying your taxes, and after paying insurance, you come out to this much. Hopefully you could see it, which is $790 cash flow in your pocket. That's assuming that you don't have any mortgage on the property. Okay? So if you have a mortgage, it might be a bit different. It's going to be less than that, of course. By the way, when you get mortgages on properties, your income comes in roughly just in your pocket around $200 to $400. So don't expect too much if you get mortgages on properties. You're not going to make that much money. It's a long-term game, like I was saying, meaning that in 15 years you physically own the property and you paid nothing because the tenants paid for it. So that's the numbers for you. By the way, I have a whiteboard right beside me. I'm going to get into so much more detail in the future videos where I'm going to break down for you like flipping a house, renting a house, and wholesaling a house. Basically, I'm going to break down for you in detail the numbers when you purchase, when you sell, the closing costs, the renovations, everything from things that I've actually done. So what I'm going to do in my future videos is I'm going to show you a house I flipped, what the numbers were, what I came out with. Then I'm going to show you a rental property. Then I'm going to show you a wholesaling deal. So I'm going to break it down for you in details on a whiteboard so you can be able to understand it a lot more. And those are going to be exciting because I'm going to show you real numbers. People on TV, they show you and they say, oh, we made on this house in 2 weeks $58,000 gross profit. Okay, when they say gross profit, that means that it's not net profit. It's not what goes in their pocket at home. Minus cost and minus expenses and minus closing, they probably come out with $20,000. So a lot of them try to trick you. And on this channel, I'm breaking down for you everything. So I'm going to let you know exactly what the numbers come out to be. We have Vadi saying, cheers again, Karam. Let me drink some water. Cheers again, Karam. This summer, I found a new side hustle. I have started to rent out friends' rooms used for universities. They're tied to contracts until end of the summer, so I've been paying them for the rooms, renting them out for more. Only rented one room out so far. However, I expect 2 more to be rented out by the next week. In the UK, this is typically called rent to rent. Do you have experience doing this? Renting out property you don't own. Man, that is beautiful. Gaudy, I love that. That's actually very, very nice. So what he does is his friends have a lease or have a contract on a property for the entire year. In the summer, these people, his friends, disappear. So he has, let's say, 3 months with this property. He gets it from their friends. He rents it out from their friends. And then he rents it to another person and makes a difference of money. I personally, I never did that. I never rented to rent to someone else. But I love that idea. I understand it 100%. And I know exactly how it's done. So that is a nice side hustle and a nice way to get your feet in the real estate world, because that's a great way to make some money. I actually have someone who's doing that right now, and it's somewhat a great way to make money if you can scale it and do more of it. Very nice, buddy. You are a true hustler. It is 1 a.m. where you're at in the UK, and you're watching this live stream, so respect to you, my man. Idris said, hey bro, are you Afghani? No, I am not Afghani, but good guess. Shabnam says, I love the way you present. Thanks, Karam. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And I appreciate you, as always, joining these live streams. All right, guys. So we're going to do a quick recap. Did I miss a question? No. Okay. All right, guys. We're going to do a quick recap. And we're basically going to discuss overview of what we just spoke about. We're talking on this channel right now on this live stream. We're discussing flipping versus renting versus wholesaling in real estate, okay? We discussed what flipping is. We discussed what renting is. We discussed what wholesaling is. I'm going to be making future videos talking only about flipping, only about renting, and only about wholesaling in detail with an actual property I've dealt with. And I'm going to show you the investment I put in. I'm going to show you the renovations, how much I paid to remodel it. I'm going to show you how much I sold and how much I profited. A real world example so you can understand how this game is done. Remember, the goal with these live streams are for you one day, or for someone one day who knows nothing about real estate, who was hungry like I was but didn't have the opportunity to come on YouTube and find this specific thing that I'm actually doing, which is from A to Z covering how to do real estate. That's the goal with these live streams, is to make it a nice line of ways so someone can come in and see exactly how to do real estate from A to Z, from buying to selling to investing to getting themselves in this industry. That's what I'm working on with these live streams. And as we do that, as you guys join me, you can get your questions answered, which is something great. Flipping, we're going to recap real quick. Flipping is short term, renting is long term, and wholesaling is short term, no credit needed, no cash needed, it just needs your effort. So 3 different ways of entering real estate, 3 different methods, and that's a nice way for you guys to be able to get in, find which one is more comfortable for you, find which one you can do, and find which one you actually find most enjoyment in. Remember, this is a overview. This is not in depth, in detail. In the next live streams I'm going to be doing, the future ones, I'm going to be breaking it down for you a lot more. As always, for the ones who are watching this right now, if you enjoyed this live stream, please click that like. It motivates me to continue. If you're watching these live streams but you're not subscribed, then you got to subscribe, because we got these every Tuesday and Thursday. We're discussing real estate. You're here watching. You're interested. Just hit that subscribe button. It doesn't take too much effort, and that also keeps me motivated. And most importantly, guys, don't forget, your hard work and your hustle is never going to be forgotten. So keep on learning, keep on growing, and keep on building your money, because that money is going to be a way you can take your life to the next level. We have over here Najib saying, talk about the duplex business. Duplex business is similar to the renting business. Meaning that you buy a duplex, a triplex, a fourplex. Duplex is 2 units, triplex is 3 units, and fourplex is 4 units, and then you go bigger and bigger. But basically is you buy it and then you rent them out. So it's just like you're renting 2 homes, but they're together and they're a lot cheaper. The 2 units are together. You can actually get into buying a duplex. You can live in one and rent out the other one, and basically live for free and pay off your mortgage. So like I said, that's for another whole video, but that's something I want to touch up on because Najib asked that question. We have Idris asking, for wholesaling it, isn't it prohibited in certain states? Great question. I'm here in the United States. It's not prohibited where we are. We have wholesalers everywhere. I really don't see why it would be prohibited. There's legal contracts you have to do. It's a touchy subject when it comes to wholesaling. You'd have to be careful, but it is not illegal where I am in the United States. Wherever you're from, if you're from the US, it's not illegal. People are doing it left and right. But if you're from somewhere else, I wouldn't be able to know, because I wouldn't know that. Shabnam says, why can't I blink while I'm watching your video? If you don't blink, your eye is going to start getting dry, and it's going to start burning. So make sure that you blink. Man, I feel like sometimes I just go and I just keep talking. Remember, I tell you guys, I get hyped up when we discuss real estate. So we're discussing real estate right now, so I am hyped up. Body said, bro, out of curiosity, what engineering field did you graduate in? I'm studying civil engineering. Also, do you use any of your engineering knowledge gained in real estate? I graduated with supply chain management and operations degree. So it is basically hand in hand with industrial engineering. Do I use any of what I learned in my degree in real estate? That's a tough question, man. Did the degree help me in life in general? Yes. In real estate, I did real estate before I did real estate when I was in college. When I turned 18, I did real estate. So I didn't need college to help me with real estate, but that doesn't mean it's not going to help me. That doesn't mean it didn't help me. It could have helped me, but I don't know. But overall, I was doing it before I graduated, so I don't think that it's needed to do real estate. There's people doing real estate without a degree. If you're a civil engineer, I think that's golden though, because if you want to start building those high rises and those big hotels and those big developments, civil engineering degree will help you with the expertise when you start entering in concrete and you start entering in buildings and you start entering in construction and so forth. So it's a great degree to be able to get into real estate at a bigger scale as well. Shabnam said, thanks for sharing your experience. I found it really useful. Your clip is professionally done and yet down to earth, and a lot of YouTubers could learn from you. I love that, and I can't thank you enough for that, to be honest. I put a lot of effort in creating, the setup that I have to make sure you guys get the best quality from the audio to the video form. And I really, really appreciate that. Not only do you comment that and allow me to know that, which motivates me, but you're also continuously watching these videos that I put out. It means a lot to me. I'll never forget that. Thank you so much. Idris said, thanks, man. I'm actually a realtor in VA, DC, and MD. Wow, realtor in 3 areas. That's amazing. I'm looking to create a side income through wholesaling. Then he continued on saying, what's your experience with wholesaling, and what is the one thing that I should do right now to get started? Okay, so my experience with wholesaling is basically with the ones who began and who do wholesaling. Me, myself, I told you I'm focused 100% with flipping and in rentals and in development. Wholesaling is something that you don't do if you already have the capital, in my opinion. So for you, if you're getting into wholesaling right now, the first step that I would advise you to do, the first step if you're getting into wholesaling, is build a buyer's list. Meaning, go to your phone, go to your contacts, and say who over here has enough money to buy a good deal property, who is a businessman or woman in my phone that is going to buy a property off of me quick. Because if you go find the deal and you're ready to close on the deal and you have the contract on the deal and you're able to make $10,000, $20,000, but you can't find the buyer, you're stuck. So start right now. Before you do anything, start with finding those potential buyers. You can find those buyers from people you know. You can find those buyers from people who are in the real estate game. You can find those buyers from people who are at foreclosure auctions because they have cash and are ready to buy properties, and so forth. I'm making a whole wholesaling video later on down the line, and I'll make sure to answer all those detailed questions in there for you. Man, oh snap, we've been streaming for 47 minutes? No way. I swear I thought it's like 20 minutes. That is long. I did not expect it. I try to keep us around 30-35 minutes. I have lost track. That's my apologies. But we're getting some great questions, so I can't just leave those questions out there. But anyways, guys, if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. If you enjoyed this live stream, hit that like button. And if you haven't subscribed in this field so we can dominate and make more money, remember this: just because I talk about what I know doesn't mean I can't learn from you. And I'm learning from you guys. Every question you ask helps my mind focus and start thinking and start brainstorming more and keeps me in line. So you learn from me and I learn from you, and we both build with one another. So I appreciate all these questions. I appreciate you guys tuning in. It means the world to me, and I'm excited to see you in the next live stream on Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. Final question. Idris says, okay, what do you think of Grant Cardone and Dean Graziosi? Grant Cardone, Uncle G, he's a beast at what he does. Every property he buys is through the bank, so he doesn't physically own any of these properties. He probably owns some, but majority, the big ones, the 400 unit apartments, all these big deals, he goes through the bank and gets them. That's not complicated to do. You could do that tomorrow, so there's nothing special. Dean, I don't know too much about him. I see his ads on Instagram and so forth. Don't know too much about him really to talk, but he seems like a hustler, so that's what I have to say. And right when I was about to end the live, we got another 2 questions. I need to do a full Q&A live stream where I just go live and you guys just ask me the questions, because whenever we do it, when I'm discussing something, it pushes the time a bit too far out. But let me answer these real quick. Body says, have a great day, Karam. Love this live stream and will definitely be back, inshallah. Glad to have you. Glad that you stayed awake even though it's nighttime in the UK, and I appreciate your appearance. And then Shabnam said, quick question. Can you explain buying into equity? Did you mean buying to renovate and getting equity? So buying into equity means this. The property is $100,000. The property is $100,000. You were able to get a good deal and you bought it for $70,000. You pull out the mortgage for $100,000. Now you have $30,000 in the middle, which means that if you refinance, the bank will give you $30,000 cash and you can do anything you want with it because you found a good deal, because you are a hustler and you are good at what you do. That's what I meant with it. Idris said, just one last question. All right, this is the last question. What is one role model in real estate who changed the way you operate in the business? My role model was my mentor who taught me for 2 months and disappeared after that. 2 months he taught me and he disappeared after that. That's a whole nother video on why he disappeared, but he taught me and helped me get into what I'm in right now, and I'll never forget that. And I love that man to death, even though he basically disappeared. But that's what it is. My role model is my mentor who taught me real estate. He's someone that I actually came across and he taught me it, and that's who I look up to. Now, right now, my role model on the internet and so forth, I really don't have one. I focus on my game. I learn from this person, from that person. I learn all around, but overall, a role model, a dedicated one, I don't have one just yet. My mentor was someone over here who lives where I'm at. He's not anybody famous. He's not anybody known. If I say the name, you're not going to know him, but he was a local mentor who taught me how to get into this game and helped me to get to where I'm at today. Even though he only stayed around for the first 2 months of my real estate career and disappeared, those 2 months were the steps of how I can get into real estate. And I love that man to death. All right, guys, we are done for the live stream. Thank you all so much for tuning in and for watching. You all are amazing. And as always, I love you all so much. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like. And don't forget to subscribe for more if you're new to the channel and you enjoy real estate. And if you're not new and you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting on? Look forward to watching your channel grow, Idris. I appreciate that, man. And I look forward to having you as the channel grows. And Shabnam, thank you once again. You have a great one as well. You guys take it easy. And for right now, I'm out.